Today, we're going to talk about something we all think we know inside and out: love. But we're going to look at it through the, let's say, unsettling lens of the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche and his absolutely ruthless breakdown of it in his work, The Gay Science.
So, let me just start by asking you this one simple question. When you think about love, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Sacrifice, giving, selflessness? Okay, hold on to that thought because we are about to turn it completely upside down.
I mean, this is the standard view, isn't it? For centuries, poets, artists, pretty much everyone has put love on this pedestal as a pure, altruistic force. It's seen as the very best part of our humanity, the ideal we're all supposed to be aiming for. And then Nietzsche just strolls in and smashes that whole idea to pieces. He argues that what we call love isn't selfless at all. In fact, he claims it's the most extreme expression of our desire to possess and to control. So let's unpack what on earth he means by that. So, Section 1, love as a lust for possession. Nietzsche's big argument is that there's a little conqueror hiding inside every lover. He basically reframes love, not as some noble virtue, but as this raw lust for possession. He's asking us to look past all the romantic poetry and see the primal instinct that's really driving the whole thing.
So, what is this lust for possession? Well, it's the deep down desire to own another person completely. I mean, not just to be with them, but to have their soul, their body, their entire worldview revolving around you. It's really about making them an extension of your own self.
And to really hammer this point home, Nietzsche draws this incredible parallel between a lover and a conqueror. Just look at this. Both of them want something new to own. Both are trying to expand their world by absorbing someone or something else. The lover wants a soul, the conqueror wants a nation. For Nietzsche, it's the exact same impulse, just with a different target. And this just nails it. Nietzsche flat out says love and greed, or avarice, are fundamentally the same thing. The only real difference is that we've given love a noble vocabulary to hide its wicked roots. It's basically greed in a tuxedo. All right, on to Section 2, the theater of romance. So if love is really just a power play, Nietzsche says it follows a pretty predictable, almost theatrical script. It's a cycle of pursuit, then possession, and then ultimately boredom. Let's take a look at the acts in this little play. This is such a powerful and kind of creepy image. The lover, in this view, isn't some selfless angel. They're a demon who wants to shrink the world of their beloved until they are the only thing left in it. The goal is total submission, just cleverly disguised as total devotion. And here's that cycle he talks about. First, you've got the thrill of the chase, the pursuit. That's what gives the lover that rush of power. Then comes step 2, possession. The new property has been acquired. But what happens after the conquest is over? Well, that brings us to the final act, boredom. The novelty fades, and that so-called love just sours into indifference, or maybe even disgust. And this just forces us to ask a really uncomfortable question, doesn't it? Is our love for a person really about them? Or is it more about the ego boost we get from the chase, from that feeling of ownership? Nietzsche would probably say it's almost always the second one. Okay, I know, this all sounds incredibly bleak. So is all human connection just doomed to be this trap of possession and boredom? Well, for Nietzsche, there is an alternative. Which brings us to Section 3, friendship. What he calls a higher love that can exist beyond this mutual ownership thing. So, just to be crystal clear, this is the model we're trying to move past. Possessive love. It's this inward-looking lust to basically consume another person just to expand our own ego to make ourselves feel bigger or more complete. And this is the alternative, noble friendship. Now notice the crucial difference here. The passion isn't directed at each other. It's a shared passion for something outside of the two of them, an idea, a project, a higher goal. It's two spirits aligned, looking out at the world in the same direction, instead of two egos just staring at each other, trying to possess one another. So for Nietzsche, this kind of friendship was a more evolved form of connection. He saw romantic passion as atavistic, like a primitive holdover from our past. But true friendship, that required honesty and a willingness to reject the easy comfort of possessive love. He thought it was much rarer, and because of that, much nobler. Okay, final section, love after the gods. So what does all this mean for us today, in our modern world?
Nietzsche believed that the death of God would force us to completely reevaluate love, transforming it from a kind of tragedy into a self-aware comedy. You see, for Nietzsche, the love of God was the most extreme form of this lust for possession you could imagine. It was just directed at an infinite being. With that idea of an ultimate possessor gone, well, we're forced to confront the true nature of our love for each other without any divine excuses. And this leads to what he called a gay science of loving. And gay here is in the old sense of the word, meaning joyful or lighthearted. It's not about trying to crush our selfish instincts, but actually acknowledging them. The key is just honesty. We admit our inner greed, our possessiveness, and by doing that, we can stop taking it all so tragically, and instead adopt a more playful, more self-aware approach to how we connect with people. And this right here is the ultimate transformation. We stop performing in this grand tragic opera of romance, and instead we can take part in a knowing comedy. A comedy where we're all in on the joke, we're all aware of our flawed, selfish motivations, and maybe, just maybe, we can connect more honestly because of it. So, I'll leave you with the same question Nietzsche leaves us with. Is it truly possible to love another person without that instinct to own them kicking in? Can we build connections that aren't based on mutual need and possession, but on a shared journey towards something bigger than ourselves? It's a challenging thought for sure, and definitely one worth sitting with. Thanks for tuning into this explainer.